Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel, Forever in Memory. In this video, we'll be honoring American celebrities who have passed away today and in recent days, along with other notable figures from around the world. Before we begin, please show your support by giving this video a like. It really helps the channel. Thank you. And let's get started.
October 5, 2025. The world of stage and screen mourned the loss of a powerful and magnetic talent. Kimberly Hebert Gregory, the acclaimed American actress known for her depth, presence, and unshakable authenticity, passed away at the age of 51 after a courageous battle with cancer. Her death silenced a voice that had, for decades, brought complex women to life. Women who were bold, flawed, resilient, and unforgettable. Gregory rose to prominence through her commanding performances in both television and theater, captivating audiences with roles that challenged stereotypes and revealed raw human emotion. Whether portraying fiercely intelligent professionals, vulnerable mothers, or fearless leaders, she brought a rare honesty to every scene. Critics often praised her ability to turn even a brief moment on screen into something profound, a reflection of the struggles, hopes, and contradictions that define real life. Born in Houston, Texas in 1972, Kimberly grew up with a deep love of storytelling and performance. She studied psychology at Mount Holyoke College before pursuing acting, earning advanced training at DePaul University's prestigious theater school. It was there that she honed her emotional precision and fearless vulnerability that would become her signature. Her journey was not without obstacles. Early career disappointments and industry challenges tested her resolve, but each setback only deepened her craft and strengthened her voice. Beyond her work as an actress, Gregory was a passionate advocate for representation in entertainment, mentoring young artists and speaking openly about the importance of diversity and truth in storytelling. Colleagues remember her not just for her talent, but for her generosity, warmth, and unwavering belief in the transformative power of art. Today, the lights of the stage feel dimmer and the screen a little emptier without Kimberly Hebert Gregory. Yet her legacy endures in the roles that moved us, the stories she helped shape, and the countless hearts she touched with her courage, brilliance, and humanity.
October 5th, 2025. The art world bid farewell to one of its most influential storytellers. Milton Esterow, the legendary editor and publisher of Art News, passed away at the age of 102 due to complications from pneumonia. His passing marked the end of an era for cultural journalism, leaving behind the legacy that changed the way people everywhere understood and connected with art. More than a journalist, Esterow was a bridge between the often closed world of galleries and the everyday lives of readers, revealing the human stories behind masterpieces and the struggles that shaped them. During his decades at the helm of Art News, he transformed it into a platform where art met politics, history, and justice. His fearless investigations into art theft, forgeries, and restitution pushed museums and governments to confront uncomfortable truths. For Esterow, art was never just about beauty. It was a mirror reflecting society's conscience and a witness to humanity's greatest struggles and triumphs. Born in Brooklyn, New York in 1923, he grew up surrounded by the city's vibrant cultural energy. After serving in the U.S. Army during World War II, he pursued journalism and quickly distinguished himself with his sharp mind and relentless curiosity. It was his move into the art world that defined his career, earning him international respect for his depth, integrity, and storytelling. Those who knew him remember a man driven by questions, devoted to truth, and passionate about sharing art's deeper meanings with the world. And though his voice is now silent, Milton Estero's influence continues, in the stories still being told, in the debates he ignited, and in the generations of journalists he inspired to see art not just as an object, but as the soul of humanity itself. October 6, 2025, the world of football lost one of its most passionate and influential figures. Milan Mandarić, the Serbian-American businessman and football executive who transformed clubs across Europe with his relentless ambition and unwavering belief in the sport, passed away at the age of 86 due to heart complications. His life was a remarkable journey, from a boy with big dreams in the former Yugoslavia to a key figure in English football, remembered not just for his business success, but for his deep love of the game and his impact on countless teams and communities. Mandaric's name became synonymous with revival. He was best known for his ownership and leadership of several football clubs, including Portsmouth, Leicester City, and Sheffield Wednesday. Wherever he went, he brought energy, investment, and a bold vision. At Portsmouth, he laid the foundations that would eventually lead to Premier League stability. At Leicester, he guided the club through a crucial rebuilding phase. And at Sheffield Wednesday, his steady leadership helped restore hope to one of England's most storied sides. His influence was not just financial. He was known for his hands-on approach, his close relationships with players and managers, and his determination to see struggling clubs rise again. Born in 1939 in the city of Gospić, in what was then the Kingdom of Yugoslavia, Mandarić grew up in a family that valued hard work and resilience. He moved to the United States as a young man, where he built a successful business empire in the electronics industry, before turning his attention to his lifelong passion, football. His entrepreneurial spirit and strategic thinking quickly made him a respected figure in the sport. But it was his deep emotional investment that truly set him apart. To him, football was never just a business, it was a calling. Those who worked alongside Mandarić remember a man who was both demanding and deeply loyal, a leader who believed that football clubs were more than teams, they were communities, families, symbols of hope. Even in difficult times, his optimism never wavered, and his belief in the transformative power of sport inspired everyone around him. Today, stadiums across Europe echo with the legacy he left behind. Milan Mandaric's life was a testament to perseverance, vision, and a relentless love for the beautiful game. And though his voice will no longer be heard in the boardrooms or terraces, his impact will live on in the victories celebrated, the clubs reborn, and the countless fans whose lives he helped shape through the sport he loved. October 5, 2025. The world of European music mourned the loss of a quiet yet remarkable talent. Paul van Bruystegem, the Belgian bassist, known for his soulful precision, deep musical sensitivity, and decades-long influence on rock and alternative music, passed away at the age of 59 after a brief but severe illness. His death left a void in the hearts of countless fans and collaborators who saw in him not just a musician, but a storyteller whose instruments spoke when words were not enough. Best known as a founding member and bassist of the acclaimed Belgian band Triggerfinger, Van Bruystigam, affectionately known as Monsieur Paul, helped shape the band's signature sound, blending heavy riffs with subtle grooves and emotional depth. His playing was more than rhythm. It was the pulse that gave the music its heartbeat, weaving power and nuance into every note. Over the years, he toured the world, played on major stages, and contributed to albums that became anthems for a generation of European rock fans. Born in Antwerp, Belgium in 1966, Van Bruystigam discovered music early in life and quickly gravitated toward the bass guitar, drawn to its understated strength and ability to hold everything together. What started as a teenage passion soon became a lifelong calling. Through relentless dedication and a restless creative spirit, he built a career defined not by ego or spotlight, but by craftsmanship and authenticity. Offstage, he was known for his warmth, humor, and humility, always more interested in the joy of playing than in fame. To those who knew him, Paul was more than a bandmate. He was a friend, a mentor, and the grounding force behind the chaos of the stage. His presence was steady and comforting, his passion contagious. Even when the lights went down and the applause faded, he remained deeply connected to the music and the people who shared it with him. Today, as the final echoes of his bass lines linger in concert halls and on beloved records, Paul Van Bruistigam's legacy lives on. His music continues to move people, not just through its sound, but through the honesty and heart he poured into every performance. And though the stage now feels emptier without him, the rhythm he created will never stop resonating.
October 6, 2025. The world of mathematics said farewell to one of its most brilliant minds. Gérard Laumann, the renowned French mathematician whose groundbreaking work shaped modern algebraic geometry and number theory, passed away at the age of 72 due to complications related to a long-term illness. His passing marked the end of a remarkable career defined by intellectual depth, elegant discoveries, and a lifelong pursuit of mathematical truth. Laumann was widely celebrated for his pioneering contributions to the geometric Langlands program, a field at the intersection of number theory, representation theory, and algebraic geometry that has reshaped the mathematical landscape over the past several decades. His research illuminated deep connections between seemingly distant areas of mathematics, offering tools and ideas that continue to influence generations of mathematicians. Through his work, complex structures became clearer, elegant solutions emerged from abstract problems, and mathematics itself grew richer and more interconnected. Born in 1953 in France, Gérard Laumann showed an early gift for problem-solving and abstract reasoning. After studying at some of France's most prestigious institutions, he became a leading figure in the mathematical community, known not only for his brilliance, but also for his generosity as a teacher and mentor. Over the course of his career, he taught and inspired countless students, helping shape the next generation of researchers who would continue to explore the profound questions he dedicated his life to. Beyond his technical achievements, Laumann was admired for his humility and quiet passion for discovery. Colleagues often described him as a thinker who approached mathematics not merely as a profession, but as an art, a language for exploring the deepest patterns of the universe.
His lectures were celebrated for their clarity and depth, and his writings remain foundational texts in modern mathematics. Today, the global mathematical community mourns the loss of a visionary. Yet Gerard Laumann's legacy will continue to resonate in the theorems that bear his imprint, in the research inspired by his insights, and in the minds of those who will build upon the foundations he so masterfully laid. His life's work reminds us that even in the most abstract realms of thought, one person's dedication can change how humanity understands the world.
October 5, 2025. The world of French theater and cinema lost one of its most fearless storytellers. Xavier Duringer, the acclaimed playwright, screenwriter, and director, whose works explored the raw edges of human experience, passed away at the age of 62 after a sudden heart attack. His death marked the end of a career defined by bold creativity, uncompromising honesty, and a deep empathy for the complexities of life. Duringer was best known for crafting stories that blurred the line between poetry and reality, exposing the fragility and resilience of the human soul. His plays and films often tackled difficult themes: love and betrayal, identity and injustice, loneliness and rebellion, with a sensitivity that resonated deeply with audiences. Works like Ball Trap, La Nuit de Thermomètre, and Lady Bar demonstrated his rare gift for turning ordinary lives into powerful narratives, full of contradictions and truth. He believed that art was not meant to comfort, but to provoke, challenge, and awaken, and that philosophy guided his entire career. Born in Paris in 1963, Duringer grew up in an environment where words held power and stories could shape the way people saw the world. He discovered theater as a teenager and quickly realized it was his calling. In the 1980s and 1990s, his plays gained attention for their raw language, emotional intensity, and contemporary relevance, making him one of the most important voices in modern French drama. Later, his transition into film and television expanded his influence, bringing his humanistic vision to even larger audiences. Colleagues and collaborators often described him as a man of contradictions, deeply passionate yet quietly introspective, relentless in his pursuit of truth yet profoundly compassionate. He was a mentor to many young writers and actors, always insisting that authenticity mattered more than perfection. His sets were places of creative freedom, where ideas could collide and grow into something extraordinary. Today, stages and screens across France feel emptier without Xavier Duringer's voice, a voice that spoke for the misunderstood, the forgotten, the restless, and the hopeful. But his legacy endures in every line he wrote and every character he brought to life. His stories will continue to challenge, comfort, and inspire, reminding us that art, at its best, is a mirror held up to our shared humanity.
March 10, 1940. On that day in Ryan, Oklahoma, a boy was born who would one day become far more than an action star. Carlos Ray Chuck Norris began life far from the bright lights of Hollywood in a small American town where strength was measured not in fame or fortune, but in resilience, discipline, and character. No one could have imagined then that this quiet, shy child would grow up to become a global icon, a martial artist, actor, cultural phenomenon, and symbol of determination known on every continent. Chuck Norris's name would one day stand for an entire genre of entertainment, the tough, unbreakable hero who fights for justice and never backs down. Yet behind the legend was a story of hardship, perseverance, and relentless self-belief. His early life was anything but glamorous. Raised in a struggling family, Norris grew up with few resources and many challenges. His father, a World War II veteran, battled alcoholism and instability, and his parents' divorce left a deep mark on him. As a boy, Chuck was shy, unsure of himself, and far from the confident warrior the world would later know. But adversity became his teacher. It forged in him the discipline and strength that would define his life. After graduating from high school, Norris enlisted in the United States Air Force, where a chance encounter with martial arts would change his life forever. Stationed in South Korea, he was introduced to Tang Soo Do, a traditional Korean martial art. What began as a hobby soon became an obsession, and then a purpose. By the time he returned to America, he had dedicated himself completely to mastering martial arts, not just as a sport, but as a way of life. He opened his own karate schools, trained students, and competed in tournaments where his skill, focus, and relentless drive earned him numerous championships and international recognition. But his ambitions reached beyond the dojo. He saw martial arts as more than combat. He saw them as a language through which he could inspire, entertain, and connect with people around the world. That vision would lead him toward the next chapter of his journey, the world of film and television, where he would become a new kind of hero, one shaped not by fiction, but by real strength and discipline. The boy from Ryan, Oklahoma, was ready to step onto a much larger stage, and though he could not yet know it, the name Chuck Norris was about to become a legend, not just in cinema, but in the very fabric of popular culture itself.
The path from decorated martial artist to international action star was neither simple nor guaranteed. In fact, his early attempts to break into Hollywood were marked by rejection and frustration. Studios were hesitant to cast a man known more for his karate trophies than for acting, and Norris often found himself on the outside of an industry that seemed impossible to enter. But as he had done his entire life, he met adversity with perseverance. Every setback became motivation. Every closed door strengthened his resolve. And slowly, opportunity began to take shape. His first significant break came in 1972 when he appeared opposite Bruce Lee in Way of the Dragon. The now legendary fight scene between the two martial artists was a defining cinematic moment, one that introduced Norris to audiences worldwide and cemented his reputation as a formidable screen presence. Unlike many action stars of his era, Norris brought a unique authenticity to the screen. His movements were not choreography, but real skill, honed from years of discipline and dedication. Hollywood took notice, and a new chapter of his life began. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Chuck Norris became one of the most recognizable faces in action cinema. Films like Good Guys Wear Black, The Octagon, Lone Wolf McQuade, and the Missing in Action series turned him into a symbol of unbreakable courage and unwavering justice. His characters were never flashy or boastful. They were stoic men of action, guided by integrity and a strict moral code.
Audiences around the world connected with this image, not just because of the spectacular fight scenes, but because of what Norris represented: strength, honor, and the belief that one person could make a difference. But his impact stretched beyond the big screen. He used his fame to share the values that had shaped his own life. He wrote books on martial arts, philosophy, and self-improvement, encouraging readers to embrace discipline and resilience in their own journeys. He launched programs for at-risk youth, believing deeply in the power of mentorship and second chances. And in 1993, he reached an entirely new generation of fans with Walker, Texas Ranger, a television series that ran for nearly a decade and became a cultural phenomenon. By then, Chuck Norris was no longer just a movie star. He was a global symbol. Children idolized him, adults respected him, and his name became shorthand for toughness and determination. Yet behind all the fame and myth, Chuck Norris remained true to the principles that guided him since his days as a shy boy in Oklahoma: hard work, humility, and an unwavering belief in doing what is right. This era of his life, the rise, the acclaim, the transformation into a pop culture icon, was not the destination, but another step in a journey still unfolding. And though the action sequences were larger, the stages brighter, and the audiences bigger, at its heart, the story of Chuck Norris remained the same: a story of a man who refused to give up. By the time the new millennium arrived, Chuck Norris had already carved his name into the history of global entertainment. But his legacy extended far beyond the screen. What made Norris enduringly relevant wasn't just the punch-packed films or the roundhouse kicks that became legendary. It was the evolution of a man who never stopped growing, never stopped giving, and never stopped standing for something greater than himself. As Walker, Texas Ranger concluded its iconic run in 2001, Chuck Norris could have easily retreated into a quiet retirement, content with a career that had spanned decades. Instead, he shifted his focus toward the causes closest to his heart. Deeply influenced by his own struggles growing up, he founded the Kickstart Kids program, a nonprofit that used martial arts to teach discipline, respect, and character to thousands of young people across the United States. For Norris, success was never about fame. It was about using his platform to empower others, especially those who needed guidance most. His influence on pop culture also took on an unexpected life of its own. In the mid-2000s, the rise of Chuck Norris facts, tongue-in-cheek jokes celebrating his superhuman toughness, turned him into a viral phenomenon and introduced his name to a new generation. What might have embarrassed another celebrity only amused Norris. He embraced the humor with humility and gratitude, often saying he was honored that people still thought of him with admiration, even in jest. It was proof that his image, part action hero, part moral compass, had transcended cinema to become something larger, a living symbol of resilience and strength. In his later years, Norris continued to write books, make public appearances, and advocate for values he believed in: faith, family, discipline, and service. He also openly shared his personal reflections, speaking candidly about his faith and the importance of living a purposeful life. Even as age slowed his body, his spirit remained unshaken, and his words continued to inspire.